you just freeze frame this record scratch, you're typically like, oh man, Achane he's caught in the dust. Like it's a wrap. But instead, you play it out, and you see him slip through, and now there's the runway.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy RayG here with my man Damian Parson, national scout for the Draft Network, and we are going to introduce a new segment to you all, some film. We want to talk some players, we want to talk some film, why we're excited about certain players, and maybe some areas of improvement that we hopefully will see this upcoming college football season. And what a better way to kick this off than the speedster out of Texas A&M. We're still trying to figure it out. Is it Devon Achane, Devon Achane? You know who he is, number 6. Tons of speed. The job should be his this year without Isaiah Spiller having being drafted to the NFL draft. Dame, you scouted Achane this summer. Where are you at with him as a player coming into the season? What's your early grade on Achane and some of the things that you like before we dive into the tape, just to tee the people up?
Man, Ray, I liked what I saw from him, and we know that he has that world-class sprinter speed that is going to scare defenses, right? You have to have real gap integrity with a guy with that type of explosiveness and long speed and the ability to shift gears in an instant, right? He's not the biggest guy either, right? So it's like, okay, can he handle the full workload? So I gave him a mid-round grade rather than a midday 2. I give him a 4th round grade just right now because he was playing as a complementary piece to the guy that we knew as Isaiah Spiller. But coming into this season, as you alluded to, we should see a guy that we should see a situation where he's getting the bulk of the touches, not just carries, which you're going to see a little bit of what he can do on tape just in just a second.
Yeah, man, and there's a lot of people, I'm just going to tell you, in the fantasy space, they're dropping names like Jamal Charles. They're dropping, these type of comps for Achane, and he runs track. He's a dual sport athlete. But let's dive into the film and see what he does well. And I think it's highlighted very clearly here on this first run that you have. So let's bring this back. Achane right here. This is versus Tennessee. And Dane, walk us through what we're seeing right here.
All right, so basically, from this angle, it looks like he gets a runway, but we're going to go when we get to the end zone angle, you're going to see exactly that it's not the easiest run to break off. Like, wow, the main thing with the run game, Ray, is that it's a numbers count, right? It's a head count. And we're going to see it with the illustrations here that you're going to have guys lined up. It's going to be to the left side of the offensive line. You got the center, the left guard, and the left tackle against basically a middle linebacker who's on the right side of the ball, a down lineman, an outside edge, and then you got the high safety. And basically, typically from a running back standpoint, the blocking scheme is to at least make it to where you have one-on-one, and it's your job to win. The left guard loses, and he loses quickly. Achane has to get away and break free of this defensive tackle, right? This is a defensive lineman. Yeah. He's an undersized undersized running back. So typically, when you see this still frame, this freeze frame, this record scratch, you're typically like, oh man, Achane he's caught in the dust. Like it's a wrap. But instead, you play it out, and you see him slip through, and now there's the runway, and then you see a hat on the hat. Guys are blocked, and now this is what defenses fear the most: is him in open field. Because you're not catching him. You're not running him down. And I just like the fact that he was able to not just take the handoff on that play, Ray, but the fact that he knew, okay, I got a guy sitting right in the gap, a guy that just won inside leverage, and he's staring me in the face, and I got to slip through. And it's the leg drive, the power through the hips. This is a defensive lineman that gets his hands on him, and he runs through the tackle. And that's what you love to see, especially from a smaller back, Ray.
Well, and what's interesting about this, Dame, is you said it best, because this is sort of like the broadcast view, and if you just watch it from here, it does look like a clean runway, right? Even when I saw this clip initially, I said, this is just a simple run. He just took it, and it's wide open. But then when you do see it from the end zone angle for the running back, like you said, the left guard loses immediately. And I'm going to just venture to say that this D tackle outweighs Achane by a solid 100 pounds. And for him to be able to have the leg drive and the power to keep his balance, to stay focused, have his integrity of his running lanes. And then again, that world-class speed. He's one of the fastest players, not just in college football, Dame, but in NCAA period, as evidenced by his track and field times, right?
Matter of fact, Ray, if you rewind real quick to that last play and pause it right here. Okay. So you see that safety at the top, right?
Yeah.
That safety was more so shaded towards the left sideline initially. And this is where that speed makes you, it really causes issues, because if you guess wrong, you shift too far and slide in your alignment, which he did, he's out of the play, and there's no way he's catching Achane now.
Yeah. Let's watch the safety here. That's a good call. Just nothing. Wow.
Yeah. It's, you know, he was aligned a lot closer to the numbers pre-snap. And, you know, and when you see it from the end zone angle, they motion Achane from the left to the right, seeing that, hey, we got numbers.
Yep.
You know, we got a head count that we can really run against, because that right side, you have a force defender as a nickel. You got the safety coming over the top. It's too much numbers.
Right.
Hey, it's simple. Sometimes it's simple math, baby. And they do a good job of IDing that. And that safety guessed wrong. And it was a wrap for him.
And that's the thing, right? You guess wrong against a kid like this, and it's over, right? Because he's got the speed. This is what is so tantalizing about Achane. I know in the fantasy space and even partly in the NFL, and we'll see on this next play right here. This is versus Christian Harris. I believe he was a third-round pick in the NFL draft, highly touted recruit. Looks like he's single coverage on Achane. And just let's watch the play, right? You're going to see Achane run this route out of the backfield. I don't think you want a linebacker covering him man on man, but just look how quick. I mean, that's it right there, right? That sort of skill set out of the backfield for a player like Achane, right? Just immediately wins against Christian Harris. It's a tough catch down the field for a running back, and he made it look very easy. Here you go again, and you just see how quickly, right? How quickly Harris loses on this rep, giving Achane just, you know, that's a 30-yard pass play right here. The crazy
part about this, man, like, Christian Harris is a really good athlete. This is a former tight end, a wide receiver in high school. He played cornerback. This is a really talented athlete at the linebacker position. And Achane stacks him immediately. Not just stacks him, but then you have a DB who's out there as well, that he splits the both of them. And then the ball tracking ability, right? It's one thing to be fast and to be able to get downfield and run this route, but when they throw that touch pass, can you track it? Can you get underneath it? Can you see it in and reel it in? And he does this quite a bit on tape. For the fantasy community that's going to watch this and that's excited about him, I see why, and I understand why, because he does have reliable hands, Ray, and I really like what he brings to a passing game, because, again, we think about the speed aspects and matching him up against linebackers, right? Yep. It's all about creating mismatches at the next level, man. And you start motioning a guy like him out, and we've seen it with other guys like McCaffrey and Kamara and you know, remember Deion Lewis when he was in his prime? Yep. He was a problem for linebackers, man. That the quickness, the shiftiness, those type of things. And what Devon Achane is going to bring is just that elite world-class speed that when he runs those simple verticals and you got a linebacker on them trying to cover from, like, especially from a normal alignment, it's going to be tough. And it's going to force a defensive coordinator to say, hey, from a safety standpoint, who do we kill? Do we do a shade and cover the number one receiver, the Devontae Adams, the Tyreek Hills, or do I leave my linebacker one-on-one with a track athlete? Like, it creates some conflict.
Dame, unfortunately, South Carolina did not get that scouting report and memo from you. Maybe they should be tapped in to TDN a little more often, because on this play right here, Dame, I don't think I showed you this one, but it's the same type of thing. And I'll venture to say that 53, this linebacker here that's matched up with Achane, is not the caliber athlete of Christian Harris. And watch what happens. Again, you watch this on the highlights, it just looks like, oh, he's just wide open. A simple play. But what you'll notice is Texas A&M schemed this, right? They knew, once again, DB, the wide receiver at the top of the screen closest to the 50s is man up with that corner. Chase Lane, I believe, is the slot. They got a safety manning him up, which leaves this linebacker on Achane. And watch what happens. This is probably... it's just... And then you see him jump up right here, right? Like, just look at how quickly Achane eats up space on this linebacker, right? You see the corner at the top is occupied by this receiver, right? He jumps that. You got the safety on the slot receiver. Achane peeling out of the backfield with looks like is on 2 linebackers, and they're flat-footed. Look at this. You already know what's coming, Dame. They're not even they haven't even flipped their hips. And then there it is. Just beautiful concept by A&M. But again, you just see, as we talked about on the last play, Dame, you have him one-on-one with any linebacker, it's probably not going to end well. Just tell us what you see right here, right? Just
so, basically he understands and he sees himself that there's no high safety. There's no one back there behind these linebackers. And he's able to read their leverage as well and understand, like, from a hip standpoint, these guys aren't prepared to turn and run with me. Like, so all I got to do is to go ahead and shift gears and get into this free terrain, this open real estate of grass. And it's house money from there. And it's just, it makes you wonder, like, was there a communication breakdown in the back end? Was those linebackers expecting, hey, I got safety help back there, so I'm going to just keep dropping and scraping. And instead of turning and trying to run, or even both of them trying to squeeze him and close the door, shut the door on him and force him to take a different route around them, they just gave him a free runway. So it leads me to think that maybe there was some type of miscommunication pre-snap. But once Achane identifies, like, man, that safety's going with Lane.
Yep.
Oh, this is house money.
House money.
I'm gonna just pushing. I'm gonna keep it pushing, and it's easy. He even had to wait on it. You know what I mean? Like, he had to wait for the ball. Like, so he got out there so quick. The quarterback's, I did not expect this. Mon was not expecting this. So it just speaks to just his overall skill set, man. Like, he's not just a track athlete playing football. This is a football player that also runs track, Ray. Like, he can do a lot of different things for an offense, and I'm excited just to see him, further on in this up and coming season, man.
All right, let's check out this play right here. See a little bit of runway, some contact balance again, and then the nose for the end zone, right? That home run speed. Here he goes again, right?
Change of direction.
Change of direction.
The immediate change of direction. And I always talk about, identifying leverage and the gaps and everything. And when you see it from this angle, and as you slowed it down, he reads it. He understands, hey, I got to read this middle linebacker. And he sees, like, there's no way I'm going between the tackles. And he sees that alley that's created and left void. Now, once I get in the second and third level, I got to make a guy miss. I got to fight through contact. And we talked about at the beginning, he's a smaller back technically than he doesn't meet the size requirements for a lot of people, right?
Right.
But especially from a historical data standpoint, he's not a big back, right? But the toughness here, the grit, the physicality, to run through 2 tackles, then say, I'm going to give you a little stiff. I'm going to go ahead and get keep my legs clean. And I'm going to get into the end, so I got a reservation for 6.
Yeah, man. This was an impressive run. Again, you just watch the highlights, easy run, touchdown, but you slow it down and you start looking at it from different angles, and you see the nuance to his game. Now, it's not all positive, right? You said a third, fourth round grade on him. I think he's probably a second, third round pick right now myself, Dame. I don't see him going on day 1. But as I watched back through Texas A&M's film, it was clear to me that they used Isaiah Spiller early. He was their grinder. I mean, he was on the field early. Achane came in to get in a little bit later, right? Now, let's watch this. This is something that I noticed with him. I don't know if he's got the lateral quickness. I don't see a lot of sudden moves out of him. And I think sometimes, Dame, he relies on his world-class speed. You'll see right here. All right, let's just bring it back just a little bit to the start of this play. And Jalen Whitemeyer, the tight end, is going to pull across the screen, right? And you're going to see from the reverse angle, there's a hole that opens up. And I'd venture to say if Achane plants his foot in the ground right here and gets vertical, he probably scores. But he tries to bounce it. He figures out late, oh no, there's nothing there. Then he cuts it back, giving that safety some time to recover, and then making the play right here. And you'll see it better from the reverse angle, DP, and I'd love your thoughts on this one, right? Because it looks like it's open right there. There's the gap.
It's wide open. Wide open.
Dame, if he puts his foot in the ground and 27 is pursuing outside. I'd venture to say from the whatever 12-yard line they're on, Achane, look at that, DP.
Yes, it's.
I mean, we could fit in this. I could put our picture in. This is where Achane is supposed to run, right here. But we can get even a little bit bigger. Damn, we could get a little bit bigger. That's where Achane is supposed to be. He bounces it.
Bro.
When he cuts back, now he allows the defense to catch up on him. Something that I think he's got to improve on this year. What say you?
I'm gonna show you something when we get so. There's two defenders, right? So you got 24 coming backside. He's following Weidemeyer, and he's sitting there in that gap that Achane is supposed to cut into. Now you keep going a little, if you slow it down a little bit, right about here. Now as right here, his upper body is square, but his lower body his hip is about to unhinge because he's still trying to maintain outside leverage because he knows this is a guy that if we don't control the outside edge, he's going to burn us. Mm-hmm. So from a running back standpoint, I need Achane to understand, be self-aware. Know your own scouting report. How defenders view you.
Good point.
Because when they view you as a speed threat, you press outside, they're going to overcompensate. They're going to overflow. And when they overflow, I always talk about it, displace, replace. You got two defenders already trying to work outside of the frame along with the defensive end who's trying to maintain outside leverage. If Achane cuts that up, these guys are in a very compromising position. Oh. Just one step sooner and he snaps that foot into the ground and gets square and gets vertical, Ray, he's going to make it really difficult for 27 to make a clean tackle on him. And at that point, you cover up and you run through your pads and run with your pads and run through that arm tackle and get 6 there. So he definitely left points on the field on this play because, yes, you're fast, bro, but you cannot, especially from a discipline standpoint, you got to understand going to the next level, you can't do things like this. We've seen the Jamal Charles and CJ2K, Chris Johnson, those elite speed type of backs as well. And even they had to understand it. Reggie Bush struggled with that early in his career, right? When he came into the league, all those years ago, he struggled with understanding how to force guys outside to cut inside. And once he figured it out, more so once he got to Miami and you start seeing those 1,000-yard seasons from him, as he kind of developed that more patience and discipline as a runner, man.
Patience.
This is the play I need Achane to hit.
Yeah, that's all I keep thinking as I watch this. If he was a little more patient, right? Because the blocks were set up. I mean, goodness, you can't ask for a better job. Hat on a hat. Look at A&M. They walled it. I mean, this is the hole right there, Dame. There it is.
It's there, bro.
There it is.
Just cut it up.
Just cut it up. He allowed him to get back into him. But, this is one play of many, DP, and I think there's a lot of positive to his game, and he's going to have every opportunity this fall to show us that he's the guy. He's going to get every chance to show us that he's the guy. So much like you, I'm not out here rushing to say he's going to be a first-round pick or even he's a second-round pick. I think day 2, you got him in that day 2, early day 3. It's early, right? Yeah. Just based on what we saw last year and, through his first couple of years. But it sounds like there's plenty of room for him to move up in your personal ranks.
100%, Ray. And like you talked about, on that last play, just being more patient, being more disciplined as a runner, IDing, not just the edge, because as a running back, of course you ID the edge because that's the first layer of the defense, but you always got to see where the second and third level, what they're doing. And when you're able to identify, quickly understand, all right, this guy's got outside leverage. That I don't need to continue to pursue this. What's the next 2 levels look like? Okay, I see 24, but he's not completely square or balanced. I see 27. He's not either. Yep. Let me plant and go. And let's put them in conflict and let's make them tackle me because these are DBs. All of them aren't built to tackle. All these guys don't want to tackle. So let's see if they really want to tackle me, even though I'm a smaller back. And then, of course, handling a bigger workload, Ray, can he do that this season and still be as productive and as efficient as a big play threat? And I know one thing that people are going to look for is going to be what's he doing pass pro when they don't send him on routes. Can he stick himself?
I don't know. I don't know.
Can he do what Kyron Williams was able to do as an undersized back and say, you know what? I'm keeping my quarterback clean. I don't care if you're a free edge, a defensive tackle, a safety. I'm sticking my face in the fire. Let's go ahead and get this thing going. That's what I'm excited to see. Those storylines for his season will really affect his draft stock, whether negative or positive. But this kid's got all the talent in the world to be a difference maker at the next level.
Love it, Dame. Appreciate you jumping on Four Downs for the first Four Downs episode. Hopefully we keep these going. If you guys like this type of content, if you want to hear more from our scouts, Kyle, Brantley, Joe, Keith, make sure you let us know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the link in the description. Go to thedraftnetwork.com. If you want these full breakdowns where we're looking at multiple plays, games of Achane and all your favorite college stars, make sure you join the premium Discord service where we do that Football Fridays. It's Friday today. We got one of those coming up, Dame, so we got to get out of here. Thank y'all for tapping in. Make sure you follow Damian on Twitter, DP_NFL on Twitter. I'm at RayGQ, but most importantly, follow the Draft Network and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back next week with more 4 Down film sessions. For Ray, for Dame, we out. Peace.